Avengers 5 rumors. Okay, it says Avengers 5 will feature Captain America, Moon Knight, Spider-Man, Hulk, and She-Hulk. Genosha will become the new headquarters for the Avengers. Now, before you get into it, okay, my time to shine hello ended up commenting and said, she said this. I said nothing about Genosha. That is a lie. And that was also echoed by Daniel Rickman.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I know, yeah, and I know you were like, Genosha's a no-go. And literally every scooper was like, yeah, Genosha's no.
Because here's how I knew that this was fake or not accurate immediately. Because Genosha is a place where the X-Men go for, you know, to have their own solitude and be away from humans who they have difficulties coexisting with, right? Now, I forget if we have seen this clip or we were just told what happened in this clip, but either way, we know in Captain America 4 Brave New World that Thunderbolt Ross says to Sam Wilson, Captain America, I want you to rebuild the Avengers. Now, what that indicates is that the very top of the U.S. government is going to have a hand in putting the Avengers back together. If the U.S. government is putting the Avengers back together, the Avengers aren't going to be hiding out in Genosha. They don't need to be hiding out in Genosha. And that's why I knew it was false.
So I agree. I kind of went back and started reading about Genosha because I wasn't understanding kind of how Genosha would fit. And I was like, yeah, this doesn't seem very smart to do that.
Yeah.
But in regards to Captain America, Moon Knight, Spider-Man, Hulk, and She-Hulk coming back, I mean, this is pretty much a given. I mean, we expect pretty much all of the characters to be back. The only okay, I hate saying this. Okay, I did hear this on Reddit, and I'm not saying it's confirmed. It's like a rumor, but apparently She-Hulk is getting recasted. That's what I heard. So that should be very interesting. And my guess is that they're probably going for more of a low key type of character if they are going to recast, which means they're going to try to change it up. So that'll be very interesting. But I mean, with all these characters being in it, this is a no brainer. Question: how would you feel about Avengers 5 becoming Secret Wars Part 1 and the Avengers 6 being Part 2?
Listen, I'm more than happy with them doing the Secret Wars Part 1 and 2, but make it a 3-movie thing. I really want to see a Kang Dynasty movie.
Do you know what's hilarious? Denna Nurse said the same thing that you said. Literally, really? Bro, Comic Cuts or Jerry, he put out a video today saying that he wants it to be Secret Wars Part 1, 2, and 3.
You know, the other thing about Kang Dynasty for me is that I read the comics, okay, and that story is a cool story, but it's written so poorly because Kurt Busiek is the worst writer ever. And like,
I gotta read that story. I gotta read it.
No, you don't.
Is that bad?
No,
is that bad?
Read it. I'm actually curious to hear what you think. I think the story is cool. I think it gets a little dragged out in the middle, and it could have been shorter, but they made it like I think it's like a 10 or a 12 issue thing. You know, but a lot of people do like Kurt Busiek's Avengers run. I think it's horrible. I couldn't even read the whole thing. I think Kurt Busiek sucks. Like, when I see his name on a comic, I don't read it. And I'm kind of happy that they don't really do much with him anymore. But there was a period of time where he was a prominent Marvel writer. You know, but anyway, I feel like the MCU could make gold with that story. You know, the thing about MCU movies is they're never direct adaptations. They kind of take some and they, you know, change it up. Which, by the way, is not like my rule of thumb for comic accuracy in comic book movies is that, number one, the characters have to be comic accurate. But there's a caveat. The more prominent and well-known or significant the character is, the more comic accurate he has to be. If that character is someone like Star-Lord and most fans don't really know who he is, you could get away with deviating more. Think about it. Do you think deviating from who Batman or Spider-Man is going to piss people off? Yes. Do you think people are going to be pissed off if you deviate for someone like Star-Lord, who people don't really know who he is? No. Common
100%.
sense.
100%.
With the stories, I think it's a little different because, number one, guys like me who've read the comics, I would like to see a new story, and they're going to do what fits their universe. The MCU wouldn't work if everything was a direct adaptation. So I say, hats off to Feige. Take your creative liberties. They invented the shared universe, and they changed the game. So who are we to tell them what rules they need to follow when it comes to comic book movie adaptations?
100%. And Hungry Almighty, you and I are in the same circle because I'm hearing the same thing. Yep, I heard about that. Avengers Incursion, Avengers versus X-Men, Avengers Secret Wars. The rumor that I heard is that Feige's going to announce Avengers versus X-Men, that he's going to announce that the Secret Wars Part 2 is going to be the Fox X-Men versus the OGs. So and that this isn't the new X-Men, because apparently they're going to do Avengers versus X-Men again with the new ones, but it's going to be the traditional version. This is just going to be like their Avengers version. And I would be excited if I got to see like huge, like a Wolverine and like freaking Steve Rogers fight. I mean, count me in, So,
by the way,
yeah.
That Avengers versus X-Men, like leading into Secret Wars, is definitely not going to be the story from the comics.
No.
Guaranteed.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It just doesn't make sense. It makes no sense to do that story.
No.
That story, for those of you who don't know, it's the Dark Phoenix is coming to Earth, and Cap and the Avengers, don't, like, I forget exactly what had just happened, but the X-Men just had a lot of controversy, and the Cap and the Avengers are like, we don't want you in control of the Dark Phoenix. We just think that would be a problem. And the X-Men are like,
crashed out.
yeah. Cyclops is like, hell no, it's not your call. And then Cyclops ends up getting summoned by the Dark Phoenix. And he goes berserk.
Yeah, he literally darn near turns evil. Like,
yeah.
One of the best storylines in comics. One of the best storylines in comics. By the way, man, Claremont.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah.
I think that next week we're gonna have to do a whole segment just talk about him for like a nice amount of time, because I'm really impressed, bro. I really am impressed. But anyways, but yeah, I would be really excited if they do an Avengers versus X-Men, but it's like the OGs or the OGs in whatever roster we have versus the old school X-Men. I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be a